This has been a secret project we've been working on for a long time.
Good. What are you doing?
Democrats cannot only be the party of resistance. We cannot, like, we resisted so hard between 2017 and 2024. We impeached the guy. Like, we prosecuted him, convicted him of 34 felony counts. And guess what? He still got elected. So I don't know how much harder we can resist right now.
Are you admitting that, that the case against Trump in New York was part of the organized Democratic Party resistance?
It was a Democratic prosecutor. And at the time, I said I thought it was unwise. I went on Fox News and said
there were Democrats who said this at the time.
There were a lot.
Just to be clear, everybody who now touts the 34 felonies, take it from Liz. This was not a real case. This was a plot to upend the presidential campaign.
You stupid bitch.
I'm declaring war on fat gay kids. Not the kids themselves, but on whatever's making them so fat, gay, and pathetic. I'm talking seed oils, SSRIs, MSNBC, and perverts masquerading as teachers and guidance counselors. Sorry, but as an educator, you can't show off your extensive collection of marital aids anymore, okay? America isn't a dance school, a video game competition, or an OnlyFans academy. It's a country. And with the help of President Trump, we'll be focusing on eliminating the things in our society that are turning our kids into effeminate weirdos and skanks.
And I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis.
I hate you. Fuck you, bitch.
Kind of like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most foundational defining things about American history is that we beat the Confederates and we beat the Nazis. And I don't know what side people may be on today.
Fuck you, bitch.
But I still am not rocking with anyone sympathetic to Nazis.
Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch.
And I will do that until I am 6 feet in the ground.
Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch.
Like, kind of foundational to me as a
bitch. Bitch.
And so, if you're cool and want to defend the Sig Heils and the Nazi salutes, whatever you want to do, that's on you.
Fuck, bitch.
I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis. How about that?
Fuck you, bitch!
Another way to protest MAGA cheaply is to not shop. Don't shop. Buy everything used. And see if you can get it for free. Don't shop. Crash the economy.
How fucking retarded are you?
I mean, you're a smart guy, right? You were director of the FBI and shit like that. Like, you wouldn't be stupid enough to leave your DNA on those seashells, right?
I kind of messed up. Me and my boyfriend were having strawberry margaritas, and to be completely honest, my ass is still sore, not because of my boyfriend, but because President Trump shit-canned me 8 years ago. So I did the seashells thingy, I posted it on Instagram, and like 5 minutes later, everyone else was up my ass. So I went out to get rid of them, and fucking Kash Patel was picking them up with latex gloves and shit. So I guess I'll just have to find a new boyfriend in prison then.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
available.
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
So I'm not entirely sure why this whole Comey-Trump death threat story pissed me off the way that it did. I guess it's because I generally like to think of people on the right being a little less retarded than people on the left. So at the end of the week, when this story broke about, oh my god, look at what James Comey posted. This is obviously a death threat and it couldn't be taken any other way and he needs to be arrested and charged.
Truth bomb coming in! This one gonna hurt!
You need to shut the fuck up!
The whole point of using coded language and veiled threats is to be able to get away with saying shit that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get away with. And it doesn't matter what you think they meant by it. It doesn't even matter what the fucking truth is. It only matters what you can convince 12 jurors of beyond a reasonable doubt. And do you really think this is enough to accomplish that? And the truth is, it is from restaurant lingo. Sure, later on people started also using it, talking about rubbing people out, or having someone taken care of. These are dual meaning phrases. If the original usage of 86 was to get rid of somebody, to kill them, but then it also became a parlance in restaurants for nixing something that you're out of, well then it would make a stronger case, but even then, it's not an explicit death threat. I keep hearing people use that fucking word. Oh, this was an explicit death threat.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
And then seeing people say, oh, well, it's a reference to a burial plot, which is 8 feet by 6 feet. Wrong again. A standard burial plot is 8 foot by 2.5 foot. Oh, well, it's 8 feet long and 6 feet deep. Okay, well then, going by the volume size, it would be 8 by 2.5 by 6. Or, oh, it means 8 miles out and 6 feet down. It reminds me of when people were making up reasons about why 420 referred to smoking weed. All these different people came up with different reasons and different lore. But the truth is, 86ing somebody being a reference to killing somebody is simply because of the reference to 86ing something in a restaurant means it's done. Nix it, it's gone. And even as a reference to people, 86ing somebody could just mean getting rid of them without ending their life. You know, like firing somebody. Now, do I think that Comey meant something dark and nefarious by this? Yeah, probably. Do I think he's full of shit? Absolutely. Oh, I was just walking on the beach and I found this and I didn't really know what it meant. Yeah, I think it's all bullshit and he knew what he was doing. But here's the thing. There are so many reasons to arrest this asshole and put him in prison. To make this the hill to die on.
Grow up. Grow up.
Hell, the picture that he posted on Instagram, right? This little seashell formation that he stumbled upon of him reading his own book sitting on a beach.
Why would you do that?
That should be an arrestable offense. But this fucking 8647 in seashells, does nobody see how doing this opens the door for words to in effect be censored simply by claiming that it's coded language masking a threat? And we're gonna open up that door just to go after a guy with a charge that probably won't even hold up in court, and who already has other criminal offenses on fucking record he could be prosecuted for. But no, let's just make a big stink about this instead.
You sound like an asshole!
Okay, I need a more uplifting story. Something like, I don't know, David Hogg getting removed as DNC vice chair? Shit, even that's kind of bittersweet, because while I do find it fun to partake in the schadenfreude of seeing him get tossed out onto his skinny little ass, I was also enjoying the schadenfreude seeing him further fracture that party. You see, he's one of those geniuses that believes that the Democrats only lost in 2024 because they didn't go far enough to the left, and that all their problems will be solved if they just go more progressive and more woke. So they announced a plan to spend $20 million on primarying Democrats in very safe blue areas, drawing the ire of many of the more establishment liberal types, not the least of which was James Carville, who as recently as the end of April referred to him as a, quote, contemptible little twerp.
That actually was pretty funny.
These two had a sort of a little debate on a podcast, and to absolutely nobody's surprise, got all irate and started screaming at him. But then just a few days later, he did a complete 180 and started talking about how the DNC needs him. The funny thing is, people like Carville, it's not even that he disagrees with how progressive Hogg is. It's all about strategy to him. He just thinks he's going about it in a stupid way. It's not that he has a problem with the progressive policies. It's that he wants you to be more subtle about it. Maybe not say the quiet part out loud so often. And it's funny watching the party split like this, where you got half of them saying, hey, listen, we need to tone this down a little, and the other half saying, no, we need to go full retard.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
It's also entertaining watching them turn on Fetterman because the dude had a stroke and could barely talk, and it was, oh no, he's fine, he's fine. Not long after winning the Senate seat, he goes into a mental hospital for depression. No, he's fine, he's fine. Oh, but he starts reaching across the aisle instead of towing the party line and being part of the resistance, and then, oh, we're worried about the senator's health. He just doesn't seem like he's completely there all the time anymore. Oh, the inclusive and tolerant left. They'll include and tolerate just about anything, it seems. Except for dissent, of course. And they sure don't seem too keen on refugees who aren't adequately melanated.
The only Africans President Trump has paved a quick path for are these South Africans. And yes, they are white. They are Afrikaners, descendants of Dutch settlers to South Africa. This is the first group of people granted refugee status to enter the U.S. since the president entered his second term. On February 7th, President Trump signed this executive order carving out an exception for the Afrikaners, the white minority who created the racist apartheid regime in South Africa and ruled there cruelly and brutally until 1994. When black South Africans, the overwhelming majority of South Africans, were allowed to vote for the first time, and they voted for that man, Nelson Mandela. Afrikaners took land from black people in South Africa, repressed them, and in the 3 decades since the end of apartheid, they still have all the land they took. Black South Africans, who make up over 80% of the population, still only own around 4% of private land.
I guess he just didn't feel the need to mention that in the late 90s they passed a law allowing the black people whose land was dispossessed under apartheid to file land claim. And the numbers I saw was out of about 80,000 claims, only 10% wanted to actually get land back. 90% of them just took a cash payout. But hey, why muddy up the waters with data like that? Let's just mention how the white farmers still own a majority of the commercial farms. And genocide? What genocide?
The idea that there's a genocide of white farmers going on in South Africa is just not true. It's absurd. And that's been debunked by a number of organizations, both inside and outside of South Africa. But it's become a rallying cry for the some right-wing elements inside the country, and has echoed all the way to America. Let me just go back to Sudan for a moment. An actual genocide has happened there, according to the U.S., as 2 warring factions battle for control of that country earlier this year.
Yeah, there you have it. CNN has announced it's debunked, and they have such a stellar track record when it comes to the accuracy of the shit they debunk. And he mentions Sudan, which I actually worked with one of the Lost Boys 20 years ago up in Boston. One of the greatest dudes I've ever met in my life. His entire family was murdered by the North Sudanese, who were lighter-skinned Arab types with names like Jabbar. And so he was brought as an orphan to the U.S., and boy do I have some awesome stories about him. But my point is, yes, there are refugees from other places, and I don't have a real problem taking them in. But that shit got abused to the hilt. We just got done with years and years of people being coached on what to say, and they get up to the border, and they know all they have to do is just say, asylum, like it's the magic word, it's the new abracadabra.
Abracadabra? Yeah, man.
And next thing you know, you got tens of thousands of people a day coming to the border and just saying the magic word.
Abracadabra.
Never mind that they're overwhelmingly fighting-age males who decided not to bring their families with them.
Abracadabra, yo! Abracadabra, man!
But let's hear what the expert he brings on has to say. And by expert, I mean a columnist for the New York Times.
Joining us now is New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof. Nick, you say this whole situation upside down. The idea that there's a genocide of white farmers. I mean, why do you think the Trump administration is doing this?
Well, I mean, he's completely turned refugee policy upside down in ways that reflect racial discrimination. I mean, he's not, the Afrikaner farmers are not suffering from that. It is true that some have been murdered, but black farmers have been murdered at even higher rates.
He says, oh, well, it's true that some farmers have been murdered. Now, what do you mean by some? Like a handful or thousands? And when he says that black farmers are killed at higher rates, I'd love to see where he got that from. Because in 2017, the Institute for Security Studies put out a paper reporting that between 1990 and 2017, 87.6% of farm murders were white compared to 12.4% black, despite white South Africans being 8% of the population versus 80% black. Now, I might not be a mathematician, but to me it kinda seems like the white farmers were getting killed at a higher rate. Of course, it's harder to find find more recent data, so I'm sure that trend just completely reversed itself for no fucking reason.
Out of the fucking blue!
Especially when you've got political leaders saying shit like, well, hear for yourself.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. Shoot to kill, no master. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
Yeah, see, when they're saying cut the throat of whiteness or have a packed stadium all singing shoot to kill the boar, the farmer, they don't actually mean that. That's just the boys blowing off some steam. And all the stories that have been coming out for years and years about white farmers getting tortured and murdered and some other stuff as well. That's all just made up. I mean, after all, it's been officially debunked by CNN. And the chyron they kept up for the entire segment, despite no evidence they are persecuted. It would be hilarious if it wasn't so fucked up. And then, of course, there's Trump's little Middle East trip. Really, it was just a Arabian Peninsula trip, and basically leaving out any kind of coordination, discussion, or inclusion of any of the Israelis. And while in Saudi Arabia, he gave a nice little speech where he basically laid out that the U.S. needed to stop having such an overbearing influence in the region, and how he needed to basically let the countries there sort shit out for themselves in their own way. And while he was giving that speech, the IDFs decided, hey, we're gonna get this terrorist guy who's under a hospital by dropping a big fucking bomb on top of it. They haven't slowed their shit down at all. And all of the scuttlebutt in recent weeks about Trump having had enough of Netanyahu's bullshit, well, it's a very positive development, if it's true. It's worth mentioning this paper that came out in 2009 from the Brookings Institute called Which Path to Persia? Options for a New American Strategy Toward Iran. And the Brookings Institute is a sort of think tank that's deeply tied into what can be best described as
these albino shape-shifting lizard bitches.
But in this paper, it discusses the different options allowing or even encouraging an Israeli strike on Iran because of the possibility of retaliation towards the U.S., not just in the bases over in the Middle East, but from Iranian-linked terror cells in the U.S. And they were talking about this all the way back in 2009. Well, one of the ways that you could try to avoid any kind of blowback or retaliation on U.S. targets would be to publicly discourage and disavow them, while behind closed doors saying, don't worry, we got your back. And hopefully that's not what's happening here, because the U.S. and Israeli government have been doing the Dutch rudder for way too long. If you don't know what that means, look it up in the Urban Dictionary. But now, all of a sudden, as of 5 seconds ago in the grand scheme of things, we start saying,
Stop! Don't!
And what, the Iranians are just going to absorb an Israeli airstrike and just say, oh, well, obviously the U.S. had nothing to do with this. I mean, they said so. So like I said, hopefully we are actually taking a step back in earnest and not trying to have so dominant a role in a region of the world where we had no fucking business ever being in the first place. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. So say good night to the bad guy. 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 So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. I told you, don't fuck with me. 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 You stupid fuck. Look at you now. Look at you now.